Hi, this is the Hotbox, telling you that this video might have some sensitive stuff in it, so take a second if you need to and go check out something else. Otherwise, please enjoy the show. Hi, this is Hotbox of the Future, and I'm sorry. The previous version of this video included Snow's dead name, and we're about respect here, no matter what kind of criticism we give. So I wanted to formally apologize and make a re-upload with better censorship. I will not be making multiple videos on this topic. This video is a cautionary tale. Life is precious. Life is priceless. Life is not something to so carelessly throw away, especially when our time is so short to begin with. More and more we're seeing life taken away before it's had a chance to truly flourish. And what's scarier is that with the constant feed of the 24-hour news cycle, it can be easy to become desensitized to these things. I mean, think about it. We have everything in front of us constantly. We're always trying to be more connected. Twitter, Discord, WhatsApp. Even my grandpa's on Zoom.
Hi, Mr. Knob. Are you joining us?
But no matter how much we see, we mustn't forget that this is about a human life. This is someone with experiences and loved ones. No matter who you are, you make a difference. In a world this big, it's so easy to feel insignificant, but you always matter, no matter what your head tries to tell you. There are always people that suffer when a life is taken, and to be responsible for this should be a guilt that can never be lifted. So to see someone so blatantly flaunting their freedom, like the life they took doesn't matter in the first place, like nothing ever happened,
will you help me hide a body?
That cannot be left to slide. So buckle up and let me tell you the story of SnowtheSaltQueen. Welcome back to the channel, new and returning, young and old, fans, haters, and everyone in between. If you're new here, why not subscribe? It's quick, it's easy, just takes a second, and you can always undo it, but it really does help out the channel a lot, so thank you. So who is SnowtheSaltQueen? Well, Snow is the alias of 23-year-old Oliver Snow of Houston, Texas, and only one of many. They also go by Yandere Freak, Bad Guy Incorporated, and more. They're a TikTok creator and sensation, quote unquote, but the only sensation I feel from looking at them is a sensation of disgust.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
They had amassed over 1 million fans on TikTok, as well as an established YouTube and social media presence. But slowly, things began to fall apart for The cracks began to show early on, when began posting content that lewded minors on their Patreon, aka their 18+ website. And no, I'm obviously not going to show pictures, you fucking sicko. Now, that may be a new term to some of you, so let me define this real quick. What is lewding? The term lewd refers to an act that is indecent or of sexual nature. It is not wrong to cosplay a character who happens to be a minor. You're not a bad person for doing a Death the Kid cosplay. It becomes wrong when you use that character in a sexual space or sense, or to enact a sexual desire. It is such a seemingly simple boundary to understand, and there are plenty of other of-age characters to sexualize. So where's the disconnect? Problematic behavior culminated in what has come to be known as the Graveyard Incident in January of 2019. Alongside another individual and their camera operator, proceeded to do a Danganronpa music video shoot at their local cemetery. Is anyone surprised it's Danganronpa fans? This is, of course, in complete disrespect to those lying rest there. There are also photos from this incident. In one of them, I can't make this shit up. It is purported that had nothing on underneath their cosplay, meaning that their bare ass was just taking up real estate on somebody's tombstone. But respectfully, right? It should go without saying, this is not legal. They did not have permission from the cemetery owners, much less the dead, and what's worse is, following this, the camera operator posted a 5-part defense on why they had done nothing wrong. So let's break that down, why don't we? The first point, quote, "First off, the cemetery was a public cemetery. It was a public space and we're legally allowed to visit and photograph/film there as long as we don't get in the way of other visitors." This is of course blatantly false. Multiple officials representing the cemetery stepped forward to emphasize the fact that these people did not have permission to do this. I'll read you a few of those now. This is the foreman of the West Hill Cemetery. "Good morning, my name is Clinton Daniel and I am the foreman at West Hill Cemetery. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I assure you we didn't and wouldn't give anyone permission to do anything like this. If you could, would you send me the pictures and videos you have so hopefully we can track down who this person is and get this taken care of promptly. If you have any other information on this person, please let me know. Thank you again, signed, Clinton Daniel Jr." And then there's contact information at the bottom that I've obviously had to blur. This one says, quote, "I, as superintendent of West Hill Cemetery, have been made aware of this morning. I have already located one Instagram account mentioned and gave a stern warning on it for them to stay out of the cemetery or they will be arrested for violating city ordinances within the cemetery. I assure you, this will not be tolerated, and if it continues, they will be caught and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you for providing more information that can be used to identify these individuals. Signed, Jimmy Rosinski." So clearly, their claim that it was a public space and permitted, and they were breaking no laws, is false. So on to the next one. Point number 2, we were very careful with where we shot. We stayed away from any sites that looked recently visited, and any places that had visitors already out of respect. We chose a day and time we thought would disturb the least amount of people for this reason. The thing is, if you were careful, if you had any amount of respect, you wouldn't be shooting in a cemetery in the first place. It doesn't matter if the grave is frequently visited or if it hasn't been touched in ages. The dead command respect, no matter their circumstance. And for you to co-opt them for their aesthetic when they aren't around to defend themselves, it's sickening. Number 3, we chose our filming and photo shoot sites carefully to make sure they were at least 100 years past. We verbally greeted and thanked everyone whose grave we visited to make the photo shoot possible, and out of respect, made sure not to stomp or kick or rub the graves even accidentally to preserve the beauty of the masonry. We also made sure to walk carefully so as not to disturb the residents, and really made a point to try and avoid walking intentionally on people's graves. Once again, the amount of time the dead have been gone makes no difference. It doesn't matter the amount of respect that you're paying because it's not genuine. You're paying, but the reason you're there is selfish. Respect is selfless. This whole point is asinine. None of this helps their case. But I mean, they don't have a case to begin with. Number 4, we love, respect, and admire the aesthetic beauty of these gravestones and appreciate the people who make an effort to make their final resting places a thing of solemn beauty. There is tangible artistry where gravestones are concerned, and we chose the location because we thought they did a good job, making sure to capture that beauty as best we could for the video. These people paid a lot of money for their graves to be so pretty, and I think it's more disrespectful to call it ugly and disgusting, frankly. I'm gonna chime in. We're not calling the graves ugly and disgusting, it's the behavior that's ugly and disgusting. Okay, we worked very hard to preserve these gravestones as best as we could, so people could see them and appreciate them also in 100 years when we're also dead and gone. You know how graves stay preserved? By thorough upkeep, by being visited and touched only by relatives, and without bare ass sitting on top of them. Take for example, museums. They're collections of art. The art there is isolated, it's left alone, so that what is there may be preserved down the line. That's what real respect looks like. Anything you do around this art, touching it, even breathing on it, affects it. Take nothing but memories, leave nothing but footprints. In fact, don't even leave footprints, just stay home, go to a tour on Google Earth or something. And last but certainly not least, number 5. The video was fucking shit, I can't read this with a straight face. That video was bomb TBH. Y'all just wanting to be mad. Of course I want to be mad, because I don't stand for privileged shitheads disrespecting someone's final resting place. Not to mention, nobody's losing sleep over your low-quality Danganronpa video. I would have woken up the same in the morning, whether that video existed or not. I'd argue I'd wake up better, knowing it would never exist. This point is so self-aggrandizing and highlights the complete absence of respect between all of these people. If had any kind of respect, they wouldn't be posting pictures from the cemetery with lighthearted captions, nor would they be mocking people giving them criticism on their Instagram story.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No, stop pole dancing. Stop pole dancing. Oh my god. Oh my god, stop pole dancing. You swung around a corner. Ah!
It's not about whether it was pole dancing or not. It's literally dancing on someone's grave. What's the matter with you? Following this, there was a TikTok live in which attempted to reason with viewers about their actions.
You'd be like, hey, do you want to go hang out in the graveyard? And you'd be like, yeah, and you'd go and you'd smoke and you'd hang out in the graveyard. And like, I've had like, there's been raves at graveyards. But apparently it's like a whole thing. Like, you're not supposed to like touch the gravestones or like do any of that. And I've never even like, I didn't even like have a, like I knew that you weren't supposed to step on a grave that's recent buried. Like if the grass hasn't grown yet, you're not supposed to step on it. And I knew that. But I didn't know there were so many goddamn rules about graveyards. Like, oh my god. I literally just thought the place was free. You have no brain cells, and the internet hates you. Yeah, like, I still don't understand why it's wrong, but, like, I'm not gonna do it again, you know? Like, I think that as long as you're not, like, being, like, actively, like, attacking the gravestone, or, like, doing things like taking pieces of it, or, like, kicking it or stuff.
Yeah, let me interject. You're not being hated for a lack of brain cells, you're being hated for not applying what you have and using common sense. And nowhere in there did I hear an apology. I heard deflecting. I heard bargaining. I didn't hear the words "I'm sorry" at all, which should have been the first things coming from your mouth. In part of this TikTok live, also discusses their kittens. This is a relatively smaller arc, but it's worth mentioning. It involves a pair of kittens that had found. They had claimed the kittens were sick, and they were asking for money to their PayPal. Allegedly, the kittens were never sick, and pocketed the money. When asked about it on TikTok Live, had this to say.
I swear to God, if you bring up the kittens right now, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. I was in and out of the fucking animal hospital for like 2 fucking weeks with those cats, and you know, I did everything I could to save them, and I did manage to save one of them. So, you know what? I literally caught a parasite from them. Like, it was a contagious parasite to me, and I caught it because I was taking care of them so intensely. So you can eat my fucking ass. I paid like $700 of my own money and only raised about $200 to like help. So much fucking money and effort and time, and my fucking roommate was in the hospital at the time. You have no right to go spreading that shit. I will end you.
Now, I don't know whether actually posted their bank account or financial information or not. But I will say, if taking care of the kittens or any animal was such a financial and apparently physical burden, the cats should have been taken to a shelter or some other facility that was better equipped to treat them. You have to worry about locking yourself down first before you can start worrying about other people. Otherwise, you're just keeping the animal around to satisfy a savior complex.
Well, especially the fact that the person that you're getting that information from, I know who they are, and I know what they've done, and if you knew the kind of things that person has done, you would not be following them. I mean, I may be like problematic or whatever, but I didn't go around literally telling people to kill themselves. Like, kill yourself, you're ugly, blah, blah, blah. Like, on a fake account that got traced back to my name. Call me problematic all day long, but when someone makes up lies like that,
has this idea that the wrongdoings of others somehow mitigate the magnitude of the things that they have done. The thing is, you don't need to tear someone else down to legitimize yourself. If your point is strong, it should stand on its own. But regardless of what other people have done, this is about you and the responsibility that you needed to take. Because otherwise, you're no better than the person you're comparing yourself to. And while we're covering smaller arcs, let's talk about the $300 wig. Began selling Junko and Noshima wigs through Tumblr. The price, $300 dues. Equates it to $175 spent on materials in addition to $125 in labor costs. So naturally, people got excited, particularly YouTuber Star Dere. Her order was soon placed. The first red flag should have been that in this time frequently privated or deleted their account. In addition, Star's porch was robbed around the time the package was supposed to be arriving in December. Offered to replace the wig for $175 alone, bringing Star's total spent to around $475 US. This should be the ending, except for the fact that Star received her wig long before ever claimed it was shipped. This left people to posit that either never shipped the first wig or shipped it late enough that it never got stolen with the rest of the packages. This would also mean that never remade the wig in question and instead pocketed the rest of the money. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Oh, and when that wig did arrive, it came shipped in a Kroger bag. Then it was moved by Star to a box to be displayed for a video.
Is plastic grocery bags, all right? In this box, just, you know, like this. One clip here, the base wig, another clip, it's a little longer. Another short clip. We have another clip, one more clip. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clips, which I was confused about because I was like, that's an odd number, and she has 2 pigtails. But then I thought, you know, maybe because of the ponytail. That makes sense. Now, with no letter, nothing in this. This wig also came with these. I don't know what these are. And then 3 of these. Oh, and then here's the Kroger bags that the wig came in. My frustration is my friend paid for her time and labor constructing the wig and, you know, buying the 5 wigs. My question is, I don't know what was constructed. That's where I'm confused. I don't know what the base wigs look like that she used, but I feel like this is something that you just buy, you know, all these, whatever. And I feel like these clips are something that you would just buy. Which in my head tells me the only thing she styled were the bangs on the wig, which are the simplest things anyone can do. Like,
the wig, as you can see, is a short wig plus several tangled clips, some of which are missing their actual clips. The wig here isn't constructed at all. It's like ordering clothes and then being sent fabric and a sewing needle. Proper wigs are shipped in this fashion. They're often netted, rested on a mannequin head, and then firmly padded. But I'm not surprised can do this, since they don't know anything about preserving things. Came forward on TikTok to defend themselves concerning this, and interestingly enough, it's here of all places that we receive a formal apology for the graveyard incident. It's a bit late, better late than never, but it still presents as self-serving. They're still clinging to ignorance by saying that things were never intended that way.
Hi guys, I've noticed a lot of discussion on my Junsoo wig recently, and a lot of just really incorrect information. So let me walk you through my Junsoo wig real fast so that it clears everything up. So this is the listing that I buy part of the wig from. I would suggest buying at least 4 of this style here. And this is a secondary style, buy like about 2 of these. So if you buy like 3 or 4 of one and then like 2 of the other, they are different colors, slightly different shades, but that's how I get that darker on the bottom, lighter on top look. So you are gonna take your clips and you are going to strip them off of these little things, and you're gonna add multiple clips on each clip, like multiple sets of hair on each clip. If you look through here, there is a very distinct line. You can see the little ties in the middle where this is 2 wigs, and some of them have 3, some of them have more than that. That's how you get the volume. And don't stick your clips on your clips. That's gonna fall off. Stick your clips and stack them up your head. Hi guys, and just for those of you who never like to believe anything that comes out of my mouth, let me show you this real fast. This is 1 clip. You can tell. This is 1 singular clip. This is 1. And this is 2 clips on a singular clip. They are different sizes. This is way bigger and it'll give you a lot more volume, way more than just 2 of these stacking on each other, and you'll have more room to stack. Now this, big boys from my old wig, this is 4. This is 4 of those little clips on 1. But it doesn't take up the space, and you can just clip 1 on, then clip another one on, and then another one on, and build it up. Your whole goal is to make the hair go up, and the more individual clips that you can stack on one of these little grabby things, the more volume your hair will have. Like, I don't know how people look at this versus this and go, this is 1 clip. No, it's not. This has a single clip, but this is more than one clip of hair. And just for those of you who don't want to actually have to do it because it's a real pain in the ass and it takes forever to stack them correctly and make them look right. But if you open it up, you see this thing right here? This little thing? Just untie this and this will just come right off. It'll just come right off the clip. You just have to untie it. I don't want to actually have to do it because it's...
Look me in the face and tell me that this is only 3 clips from Amazon. Look me in the face and tell me that's only 3 clips from Amazon. The last 2 drama things that I'm going to address on this is the graveyard and the kittens. As for the graveyard, I never intended it to be offensive content. It never even crossed my mind. And that doesn't make it any better, and I understand that. There was lots of people's feelings who were hurt, and I am very, very sorry. And I don't mean it like, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, because some people like to take it when I say that. I mean legitimately, I never intended for anyone to be hurt by that. I really never thought that anyone would even care. And when I found out that people did, I was taken aback by it because I really didn't understand. And I understand that now, and I'll never use graves like that again. But I am sorry for like crossing the line between just regular content and something that is offensive. And as for the kittens, it's fucking bullshit. I've proven it's not true. I've posted the vet bills. I've posted my bank statements proving that I paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars for those kittens. And their deaths destroyed me. Sal is still alive. He was actually one of them, and he's my sweet baby.
Goes on more about the wig commissions, firmly standing by all of the hard work they do, and how serious they are about this. However, if you cared that much about your craft, you wouldn't be stuffing it in a grocery bag and turning it into a tangled mess.
That I am very honest with my commissions. I tell you exactly what you're going to be getting, and I tell you that, I think that I tangle a lot of my wigs on purpose. And I will tell people that, and I'll say, hey, in the commission, I'm going to tease it and make it look a certain way, especially for Nikon. Her hair's messy. And people will be like, yes, okay. And then I will send them the wig, and they'll be like, it's tangled. Refund. And I'll go, then send me the wig back. And they're like, no, you should just refund me. That fucking Junsoo wig, I offered her a refund. I asked her if she wanted one. She said no. She said she didn't want a refund, that she would keep the wig. Because she wanted me to give her a refund without sending me the wig back. I was like, I'll literally pay for shipping, just send me the wig back. That's like $200 worth of wig. You only pay me $100 to style it. But no, she wouldn't give it back to me. So she's like, no, I'm gonna keep it. And I was like, okay, well then you keep it then. No, she wouldn't give it back to me. So she's like, no, I'm gonna keep it. And I was like, okay, well then you keep it then. Then you keep it then. And don't complain about it, because I offered you a fucking refund. Bitches do nothing but complain, I swear. I have issues doing commissions because I want to, because I like doing commissions, but at the same time people get really about them. So you'll just have to see what if you're interested in a Nikon commission, that would be really easy. I do 2 kinds. I do them from Amazon and I do them from Arta with different prices for each because the bases are different prices. I'd have to look up what the bases are to remember, but I usually charge $50 for styling, especially when it's something like Nikon and I've got to put it on a wig head and tease it up and cut it and do all this shit.
Because my Instagram's weak spot.
I'm just being real. My shit, look. She wouldn't get that better off not paying someone for your Nikon wig. You should get an Arta wig, a big nice Arta wig, and then you just fist it with your hands. You do this after you cut it particularly, and bitch, it looks good. You just gotta fist it correctly and jerk on it and throw it on the floor a little bit. Let her roll around. Don't actually do that. You'll get all kinds of shit at your wig. Do not actually do that. Funny enough, my Junsoo wig now is actually more expensive than $300. Literally the physical clips, the amount of hair in it physically is more than $300. And I think about that sometimes.
What is talking about doing here is the equivalent of simply teasing the hair and throwing it in a box. There's no assembly happening. It's not a commission. Is practically playing middleman for the wig pieces to the customers. And according to people who know more about this than I do, there's better ways to tease hair without, fisting or jerking. Now look, I've said a lot, but alongside this, received some very disturbing threats. Threats of SA, including being doxxed as well. No matter how outraged a person is, no matter what the person has done, this behavior is never okay, period. Personally, I wish story ended here. Some problematic behavior from a few years ago when they were still pretty young. Oh, and I mean falsifying legal documents. Did we talk about that? From SnowtheSaltQueen. Enclosed is your legal cease and desist letter. You must reply your compliance by April 12th to avoid legal action. All evidence have been recorded already. What? All evidence have recorded already been copied and sent to a lawyer, so you can't just delete it. You must reply with acknowledgement that it is false and an agreement to stop spreading falsehoods. If you do not comply or continue afterwards, we will take full legal action. And then here's the letter. Oh, and look at that. It's just copy-pasted from a template. Whoops. That aside, again, if this was just about being a bad person when they were younger, I wouldn't be making this video, and somebody else would still be alive. But it's time we talk about the manslaughter charges. Before going into this, I want to restate that this will discuss an, at the time, ongoing legal situation. All documents and information is public record, but some information will be obscured for courtesy. On or about the evening of January 17th, was responsible for the death of a close friend, who in this case shall remain nameless out of respect for the family. They shall be referred to only as Friend A. While heavily under the influence of drugs and alcohol, he pulled the trigger and brought Friend A's life to an end. Following their arrest and charge with felony manslaughter, was appointed a measly $20,000 bond with heavy parole restrictions that, I should add, they broke nearly immediately. And what did do with their newfound freedom? They posted TikToks like nothing was wrong. Literally, we have a screen cap of when went on hiatus in early January, hiatus quote unquote. This coincides with the time frame of the manslaughter charges, followed by a February return where they're begging for interactions and not saying a word about what's happened. Granted, this is probably on the advice of legal counsel, but it sort of screams guilt. Was acting like they didn't just take a life. Accident or not, inebriated or not, it's flaunting the fact that you're still alive and someone else isn't. Look at some of their pinned TikToks.
Will you help me hide a body? Huh?
There are no words that can abbreviate the horror, so instead, I will read you a direct excerpt from the court documents. While you listen, I want you to remember, this is the story of a life being taken. Affiant asked the defendant if they were willing to give a statement as to what occurred in the residence, and they agreed. The defendant was escorted to my unmarked county-issued vehicle, where they sat in the front passenger seat and provided an audio-recorded statement. The defendant provided their full name and stated they reside at this residence. County, Houston, Texas. The defendant stated the complainant goes to college and does not live at the residence, only comes to visit. The defendant stated they have known the complainant since high school, and the complainant has been staying at the house for a couple of months. The defendant stated they were all drinking and they got pretty drunk. The defendant stated their ex-boyfriend left his gun at their residence when he moved out, stating he took all of the bullets. The defendant stated they did not know there was a bullet in the gun, stating they have played with it before as a joke. The defendant stated their ex-boyfriend has shown them how to take out the bottom part, referring to the magazine, so it would not shoot. The defendant stated they had been passing the gun around for hours and had been playing with it. The defendant said they weren't paying attention hard enough, and they might have been too drunk. The defendant said the complainant came up to them and was joking around, telling the defendant, "Ooh, shoot me," quote unquote. As they were laughing, the defendant said, "Oh, okay," and said it went off, referring to the gun. The defendant was in shock, saying that it was supposed to be empty. The defendant said they did not load it and do not know how it went off. The defendant told their friend to call 911 as they moved the gun away from the complainant. The defendant said the 911 operator told them to place the gun back in the case. The defendant believes everyone in the house had touched or held the gun that night. The defendant stated the gun was mainly in their front pocket where they were keeping it. The defendant stated they pulled the trigger and stated it was their fault. Affiant asked defendant why they had the gun with her. The defendant stated they were watching Gotham and said they were drunk, laughing, messing around, saying they're a cosplayer, stating they like characters and stuff, and told their friends that they had a gun like Penguin does. The defendant stated the gun had never been fired before. The defendant stated that when they start drinking, they usually put it back in the case, but didn't think about it, believing it was empty, stating they had it out about 2 or 3 hours. The defendant stated they assumed the gun was empty and didn't see it as a danger anymore before the shot was fired. Affiant asked the defendant if they were right-handed or left-handed. The defendant stated right-handed. The defendant stated they were in the living room and their friend B, came up to them and told the defendant, "Oh, shoot me," quote unquote, as the defendant pretended to do so. Then, the complainant, friend A, told the defendant, "Oh, do me," quote unquote. So the defendant turned to their right towards the complainant face to face and placed the gun up to the left side of their head and pulled the trigger. They saw friend A fall to the ground face down. The defendant stated it was a Glock handgun and had some numbers on it. The defendant stated once they put the gun down, no one else touched it. The defendant stated they had been drinking vodka and coke since earlier in the day when they were at home. The defendant stated they were hammered and also had smoked some. Homicide investigator C. Castro assisted in this investigation and asked the defendant when they loaded the weapon, did they notice the magazine was inside the gun? The defendant stated they thought it was out and completely empty when they were pointing it at themselves and other people. Affiant asked the defendant if they put the magazine in the gun. The defendant stated they do not remember putting the magazine in the gun and stated they might have been really drunk and might have put it in, not thinking about it. The defendant said it made a clicking noise when they pulled the trigger about 3 or 4 times. There is much more, but I believe that speaks for itself. Oliver Snow may have had a chance in this life, but when you're constantly convinced that you're right, you'll only be fooling yourself. He behaved incredibly foolishly with a firearm. First off, a firearm is always loaded, even when it's not loaded, and a firearm should never be operated by someone under the influence of anything. It should not even be near people under the influence. And while I don't doubt has faced trauma from this, the family of friend A deserves justice and deserves consequences for their actions, especially if is going to flaunt their freedom right in the face of the people they've made suffer. So what can you do? Report alternate TikTok account that's still public as of September 28, 2021 at roughly 10 p.m. Report themselves to your local convention or event, and report if you see them anywhere on any kind of social media. This person does not deserve a platform where they could potentially hurt more people with their poor decisions and attitude. I will close this video with a final word from someone close to the situation, someone who knew friend A themselves.
For the sake of the victim's family, I am deliberately not disclosing their name, but this is gonna be the last fucking thing that I say to you. The person that Snow shot and fucking killed was someone that I knew and cared for. Someone that continued to be friends with Snow and continued to forgive Snow and give Snow chances after all the shit that they did. Okay? They genuinely believe that Snow would never hurt them. The circumstances of the case and the charges don't matter. What matters is that someone lost their fucking life because of Snow's gross negligence. This absolute fucking idiot used a loaded gun with the safety off as a prop and shot and killed someone, whether it was an accident or not. The fact that they are continuing to post as if nothing happened shows that they have no fucking remorse. They do not deserve a platform. That is the only reason I said something, is because they do not deserve to be on a platform, continuing to post, continuing to interact with people, continuing to make friends that they also could potentially fucking hurt. Now again, Snow legally cannot have a gun. Legally cannot have a gun. Given that they legally cannot have a gun, that's strike one. Strike two is the fact that it was loaded and did not have the safety on. Strike fucking two. Strike three, it was pointed at someone. Whether that be for a fucking TikTok or something or otherwise, they killed someone and you're defending it.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and share the video. Spread the message around. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a good rest of your day and an even better tomorrow. I love you. And before you say it back, look in the mirror and say it to yourself. And I will see you in the next episode of whatever I make. And until next time, this has been the Hotbox. Bye. Whoops. Now the first red fuck. Fuck off.